Yes. Okay. Hello, hello, hello. Hello, hello, hello. Hello, hello, hello. Hello, hello, hello. Great. All right, everybody. I am going live on 3 platforms now. Isn't that exciting? I'm going to be on YouTube, so I've been on YouTube for a couple minutes now, which is fine. And then I'm also over here. Sorry about that for being a little bit late. But I'm going to go over here on YouTube and on TikTok a little bit. I'm going to go over sort of 5 ways that keeping a toxic family secret might be harming you. So, like, what do I mean? I gotta move my microphone here. What do I mean by a toxic family secret? I'm talking about, something that happened directly in your family that's really bad. And I will tell you that I've been working with people for a long time, and SA, which is I'm going to use for a substitute for something else, is often one of the dirty secrets that happens. That there was some kind of cruelty of an extreme nature, emotionally, physically, or the third kind, and everybody knows about it in the family. But it's that thing that nobody talks about. So the toxic family secret, so to speak, is actually wide openly known. We knew what Uncle Jimmy did. We knew what happened to Dad. We know what Mom was into. But nobody talks about it because they don't know how to talk about it. And so what happens to that secret is that they try to sweep it under the rug. But it's the thing that actually ends up hurting somebody and ultimately destroying that person is that toxic secret. It's the wide open secret. It's the elephant in the room, so to speak. So these are not necessarily things that we're keeping from other people. However, of course, if there is a toxic or dirty family secret, that's the giant fear there, isn't it? Is that somehow it's going to be known outside of the family. But the problem with a toxic family secret is it's known inside of the family, but nobody talks about it. So it's not really a secret, right? It's not really a secret. And so it can cause all sorts of damage. So I compiled a little bit of a list of ways that this stuff can be actually pretty damaging. So I'm going to do this on Facebook. I'm going to do this on YouTube. I'm doing it on TikTok, and then I'll shut my YouTube and Facebook off and just continue on TikTok. So the first one is psychological stress. So obviously, if there is a elephant in the room, if there's a big family secret, if something was going on and nobody's talking about it because they don't know how to talk about it, keeping a family secret can lead to chronic stress and anxiety. People may constantly worry about the secret being discovered or brought into the open, either inside or outside of the family. There's that constant fear that it's going to be found out that this perfect family that we portray is not exactly perfect. That's a real stress for a lot of people because psychologically speaking, if we're not fit to be in the community will kick us out, and that equals death in our brains. So you can have mental health issues because of this. And I will tell you, I've worked with people for 20 years. I will tell you that there are plenty of dirty family secrets that that people have shared with me as a release valve. And I fully think you should, especially if it's somebody's being hurt, where they told me things that happened in their history 40 years ago, and everybody in the family knows about it, and it's this terrible secret, and it ruins the family. Now, you can gloss over it for a while, but you're going to have these sort of psychological issues, anxiety, depression, low self-esteem, all sorts of things, dysfunction in the family. And I'm not saying it's easy to talk about the elephant in the room, but what I am saying is that it's possible to actually find somebody to talk to about this, whether it's a mental health professional or clergy person if you have a spirituality. The second thing is trust issues. If there's a big secret in the family, a dirty secret, who can you trust? Who can you trust? When family secrets are kept, and again, the family secret inside the family, everybody knows it. Outside the family, it's terrifying. But inside the family, if you know that this is going on or something happened and it's just not being addressed and it's constantly hurting the family, who are you supposed to trust? So family members can feel deceived. They can feel betrayed. I know that there are things that I'm the youngest in my family. There were things that were kept from me that weren't necessarily terrible, but they certainly, when I found out the reality, and I was older, I was a teenager, I was like, gosh, what else are they not telling me? Right? They kept it from me to protect me, but then I found out, and I'm like, oh, well, what else is not true that I believed? People can feel betrayed, especially if the secret is revealed unexpectedly. Like I said, anything that was shared in my family was not necessarily like devastating. It was just kind of life-altering is what it was. So you can have difficulty forming bonds within the family. You can have physical health problems. The stress of it and anxiety, we know that this affects people's bodies. Of harboring family secrets can manifest in physical health problems throughout the entire family. You can have high levels of stress hormones like cortisol. Can lead to a bunch of issues: inflammation, pain, high blood pressure, heart disease. I think that in some ways these things are genetic and they run in families, of course. But I think that if everybody's under the same stress from the same terrible secret, that can cause a lot of troubles right there. The perpetuation of unhealthy patterns. Toxic secrets often hide unhealthy behaviors, and one untold secret can lead to other bad things happening, in which there are more secrets at that point, right? So, I mean, it can be really difficult. If this is something you've struggled with, put yes in the comments, or somebody. You don't have to make it about yourself. Obviously, this is a public forum we're on. But, I mean, if you've known families that struggle with dark family secrets, they perpetuate themselves. When you don't address the elephant in the room or the dragon in the room, it gets bigger and the problems get worse. So some of these can include, some of these secondary things from the big family secret can be substance abuse, emotional and physical cruelty, neglect. When these behaviors are kept secret, they're not addressed. They can be passed down. It's funny, and I'll tell you that in my wider family, one of my family sides, there's a big issue with my great grandfather, how he unalived himself, and I think that has had ripple effects 4 generations later into my generation and into even the generation that came after me. So, I mean, we never talk about it, but we all know what happened. And finally, emotional detachment. To cope with the burdens of a family secret, individuals might emotionally detach from their family members. They might feel isolated. They might feel a lack of emotional support. Yeah, Sophia says alcoholism. Yeah, it's true. Yeah, absolutely. This attachment can affect one's ability to form emotional connections and lead to a sense of loneliness and isolation. Folks, this is serious business. This is serious business. And again, the funny part about funny, haha, not funny like interesting, not funny, haha, is that these family secrets. Apple, I just saw your comments here. So your family life has been ruined because you got help. They got mad. You got help. Yeah, because they don't want their secret exposed. I totally get it. I totally understand. Like, there's not only a fear of people finding out outside of the family, but what happens about in the family. You've got to deal with. So a lot of people just sweep this stuff under the rug, and they never actually address it as a family, and it has these kind of effects. So what do you do? Well, Apple, I'm proud of you for doing this, and anybody else that's watching right now, I'm going to finish this off here on Facebook and on YouTube. But one of the things that happens is that you've got to get help for yourself. You've got to tell that secret to somebody who can hear it. Again, a mental health professional or a clergy person if you trust them. Heck, some people go to bartenders and tell them. I mean, I'm not an advocate of that, but you gotta start by addressing the invisible dragons in your own life. How is this affecting you? And that may mean you have to distance yourself from blood. I don't necessarily think that you are obligated to be in an unhealthy relationship with anybody, especially if they're blood relatives. I mean, I do, just because they're family doesn't mean you have to be put yourself into danger around the whole thing. So I don't know if anybody has any opinions on this. I would love to hear what you have to say about this whole thing. Put it in the comments if you're watching the repeat version of this. Put something in the comments, and let me know what you think. I'm going to stay on TikTok here for a little bit, and I'm going to end my live over on Facebook and YouTube. Okay, I'm still with you, TikTok.